Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder responds to Dillian Whyte failing the drug test. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing. If you want to become part of the gang notification gang, please hit the bell icon. Wilder, on his verified page, he spoke to the reported news that Dillian Whyte failed with multiple components, some of which are found in anabolic steroids. Dillian Whyte tests positive for banned substance, and Wilder goes off. So make sure you smash the like button. Let's get into it. Deontay Wilder said, now here you have a fighter that has been recently reported of taking PEDs, performance-enhancing drugs. In fact, it was said he had over more than one substance in his body. This fighter has been caught before using PEDs, so this is his second attempt. This shit has to stop. The bleeding has to stop somewhere. We just had a fighter to fucking die in the ring because of taking too many blows to the head, and you have idiots like, and he tagged him, Dillian Whyte, who want to cheat just to come up in his career because he's not good enough to do it alone. Oscar Rivas was his opponent that Dillian Whyte fought recently on drugs, in which Oscar Rivas dropped this drug user and almost beat him. So Mr. Whyte, all that and this shit halfway worked. You still got put on your ass. I'd get my money back. Ooh. He said he need a refund. He's been claiming to want to fight me, but the question is, if you're doping with a non-champion, just imagine what you would try to use if you had the chance to fight me. You would overdose. Him and his promoter, Eddie Hearn, gave the WBC and Mauricio Suleiman hell while all along, this motherfucker has been cheating, shaking my head. Then have the audacity to try and snitch on his countryman, Anthony Joshua, and accuse him of doing drugs when he himself is doing it as well. Notice he said as well as opposed to, so I think Wilder believes that AJ has done something, and he's kind of alluded to that, but he says as well. On top of his promoter tried his best to cover this up before Whyte's recent fight. Somebody come and look at this shit. I get criticized about saying things like, I'm gonna kill you and mean it, but without any substance whatsoever in my body. But here you have so many fighters like the likes of Dillian Whyte that flood their body with PEDs just to advance to the next level while committing an attempt to murder, but want to speak against PED users. Shaking my head, get the fuck out of here, laughing my ass off. Boxing is a place where you can hate it, but love it at the same damn time. This nigga is definitely the donkey of the year. Hashtag to this day. Hashtag he hon. Hashtag Eeyore. This man called him Eeyore. Wilder a fool, bro. Man, it's looking bad for Dillian Whyte. Man, it goes without saying. Eddie Hearn, of course, is trying to clean it up and say, man, listen. I said it before and I'm going to say it again. It always looks better when you come to and bring this admission as opposed to it coming out another way. Meaning, if Dillian Whyte was on nose spray or there's a real reason outside of cheating that he was using whatever he got caught for that was banned, then why didn't Eddie Hearn bring it to people's attention? How come Oscar Rivas' team is saying they had no knowledge of this? So if you did nothing, you didn't do the crime and you don't deserve no time, then why didn't you tell Oscar Rivas? Say, hey, your man's about to go in here. He failed a drug test, but nobody panicked. It was in some nose spray. They just wanted Eddie Hearn, he's a hypocrite for this. He talked about Manny Pacquiao and basically insinuated that Pacquiao's on something, whether you believe that or not, or had been on something. He said he's faster, stronger, whoom. And he talked about ban Gerald Big Baby Miller after he messed up the Anthony Joshua fight. And he pushed through a fight. And the only thing he could say for himself is they were both cleared to fight. Man, I'm not trying to hear that because Eric Morales had something in his system when he fought Danny Garcia in the rematch. And he was cleared somehow to fight, and the fight pushed through, and Danny Garcia knocked him out, right? Same thing with Francisco Vargas. So you can be cleared. That don't mean you're cleared of and exempt from, having this stuff in your system. And it seems to be different in the UK in general. If I'm Andy Ruiz, I'll say fuck fighting in the UK. No disrespect to the UK folk. There's a lot of good people there, but hell no. Why would I fight in the UK? And this is, like Dillian Whyte, when he was outing Joshua, he said Joshua's performance versus Andy Ruiz was what it was because he was training in America and they have American drug tests. So it seems like there's ways to circumvent it. You notice the people who are calling out other people seem to know a lot about this whole underworld of PEDs. Gerald Big Baby Miller, he's like, man, I know bodybuilders that can't gain 20 pounds of muscle. I heard about this dude. He's using testosterone. Dillian Whyte said the same thing. So they know so much about it, and then they end up failing drug tests. So that's not a good circle. I heard Eddie Hearn talking about suing somebody again. How come some rich white people always try to sue people? They always threaten to sue somebody. Who are you going to sue? You going to sue for defamation when it's looking? I have not heard anybody say that this is not true. I've not heard Eddie Hearns himself say it's true. Whether it's cleared or whatever the fuck, the failed drug test by UCAD, I have not heard any reports that say, nah, that's BS and won't. So who are you going to sue? Everybody's talking about this. It's the hottest story in boxing, and not for a good reason. Maxim Dadashev, he lost his life not through PEDs, but just from, like Wilder said, taking head trauma, blows to the head. We don't need this in this sport, And Hooker versus Ramirez is an Eddie Hearn matchroom card. I hope they're asking him all the questions in the world about this. And we can't let this shit just die down. Wilder is the king, as you guys see with the crown and shit. He's the king of the heavyweight division. He's the only one, the longest standing one, the longest reigning one, and he hasn't failed a drug test. Him and Andy Ruiz, they're literally the ones that haven't been accused and or failed a drug test. Joshua, he hasn't failed a drug test, but he's been accused by his counterparts, Gerald Miller and Dillian Whyte, whether you believe that to be true or not. But he lost. He lost to Andy Ruiz, so he's not the king of the division. He got to make that right. Andy Ruiz is doing his thing in Wilder. Conveniently, they don't want to put, them being like old media, they don't want to put an American at the forefront of this boxing shit. But as you see, the American boxers reign supreme in general. Like Wilder and Ruiz are the heavyweights that are the most popular, most talked about, more like, people are excited to see their next fights, and they're doing it clean. Like they haven't failed any drug tests. They've been searching out for the great challenges. As you see, Ruiz, 5 weeks notice, beat Joshua. It's just looking bad for the UK. It's looking bad for DAZN. It's looking bad for Rematch Room. And you guys told Wilder he needed to sign to DAZN. DAZN, by the end of this, they're not going to have any power. Why the fuck would Wilder have signed to them? Joshua lost, so he has to rematch that to get his belts back. Dillian Whyte, he's hurting his brand by failing a drug test, right? What did Wilder need to sign to DAZN for? When their two biggest heavyweights that he could possibly fight, their brands have taken a hit for one reason or another recently. Wilder's king of the division, and this is embarrassing, to be honest. It's sad for boxing, and it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing that, you had Eddie Hearn and Dillian Whyte talking about 603 days and now 604. They're going day by day, counting all the days they've been waiting for an alleged title shot. And now they're probably going to lose that mandatory positioning. I don't really understand how you can remain a mandatory with something in your system. The WBC from the past, they don't really play like that, where they're all about the clean boxing program and whatever. And he had more than one thing. So the more stuff that's in your system, the harder it is to explain. You've seen Gerald Miller. At first, he tried it when he failed a drug test. He tried to make it look like, we're going to get the guys and, clear my name, me and my team. But then he started failing too many tests for multiple things. So he just said, man, I messed up. I messed up. It's sad, man. This heavyweight era is sad. Nobody wants to get out the mud like Wilder. you know. And I do feel, even though Wilder's the king of the division, I feel bad, man. How many people is this currently that have been linked to fight Deontay Wilder in the near future, and or has scheduled fights that have failed drug tests? Alexander Povetkin, the Polish fighter. Before it was Gerald Washington, they had a Polish fighter. That's already 2 people. Luis Ortiz has failed a drug test. Now Dillian Whyte. That's 4 people off the top of my head who have all been linked to fight or scheduled to fight or thought of as future, you know, in the near future opponents for Wilder, that have all came up, you know, on the wrong side of the law with PEDs. Meanwhile, Wilder is not getting the credit that he fully deserves, and he's doing it the earnest way. So far, so good. He hasn't, you know, failed any tests, and his power, and he's the strongest guy out of all of them. He's the strongest puncher in the heavyweight division, and he ain't failed nothing, and he ain't coming in at these incredible weights, and, you know, it just shows you that power has got. Look at this fucking picture. This man looks melted. You know, it just goes to show you that power is God gifted. You know, people can do stuff. They're really why people take PEDs is, like in the heavyweight division, is faster recovery, you know, to recover so they can train and push their bodies further, do more, you know. They feel they're getting stronger, more explosive, stuff like that. But Wilder has God-gifted power. He's doing all this stuff, and he weighing like 209, 215 and shit, you know. It's just sad. It's sad, very sad for the heavyweight division. It's sad that these fighters got to do all this extra shit before facing Wilder. Like Wilder is saying, if you did all this to cheat for Oscar Rivas, basically, what would you have done? You would have overdosed or something to fight Wilder. And that goes to show you a lack of security. Like, it shows you an insecurity, really, because how do you feel that you need to put something in your body to fight a 6-foot Oscar Rivas who didn't really have the resume? He has power, but he doesn't have the feared power that Wilder has. You get what I'm saying? And you did all this and had something in your system for that. Then all this stuff about knocking Wilder out, you know, why would anyone feel you would go into that fight clean? Now, you know, we'll wait for more information from Dillian Whyte, but he's gone ghost and radio silent. I ain't heard from nothing on the social media from him. You only hear Eddie Hearn, the mouthpiece. Eddie Hearn. Bad look, horrible look for Dillian, the body snatcher Whyte. He may have really messed up and squandered his opportunity here. Let me know what you guys think. Shout out to Deontay Wilder. DAZN rematch room, they're in shambles right now. They got to fix. I don't even know how you can fix all this. I told you the DAZN curse. This is a lot. There's a lot of stuff in the short concentrate. Canelo don't want to fight. Who DAZN want him to fight? They talking about Triple G and Jaime Munguia in Texas. You know, AJ lost. Dillian Whyte won. And people, you know, off your most respectable win, an undefeated fighter. Joseph Parker was a good win, but he was coming off a loss. You know, you fought a guy undefeated who just stopped Brian Jennings. Most respectable win. You still got knocked down, but people gave you credit for your jab and stuff like that. And then you fail a drug test. It adds suspicion. You know, and it's not even the first time he's failed a drug test. Horrible stuff. Let me know what you guys think of Wilder's response. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button. And you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.